everybody says this. Everybody said this story X number of years. Right, it took place right before Purim. It took place right before Purim. This is what?
That makes it true.
That makes it true. Everybody said it was so. Everybody heard it. Okay, it was a cloudy and rainy night in Lakewood, New Jersey. Maybe some people have heard the story. They also heard it.
Sounds like Telstone last night.
Lakewood, the great citadel of Torah, of America. Kinain Hora. There's an Avreich, a cool fellow. He's driving in his car. He's not driving so fast. He's not driving so slow. Suddenly, without warning, there's a couple, an elderly couple, at the curb, and they start to make their way out into the middle of the street. He didn't see them. It was cloudy and it was rainy. There was two funerals. Oy vey. The police did not take him incarcerate him for inspection for questioning, and not only that, but he never got a letter from a lawyer either. He wasn't sued, which is, I think, an unbelievable nace if you know anything about the personal injury attorneys that there are in America these days. Everywhere I looked on a billboard, there was a billboard for so-and-so Plony attorney, personal injury. Here's his phone number, call him up. Did you get injured? Let me hear about it. But nevertheless, this person was an Avreich. He was a Yoreh Shamayim. And even though there didn't seem to be any consequences from what happened, he was totally tzibrochen. Ois mensch. He couldn't live with himself. Why did this happen to me? Why, of all people, me? That I should run over two elderly people? He couldn't sleep at night. He didn't know what to do. So what does a Jew do when he doesn't know what to do? He goes and consults Gedolei Yisrael. So, for whatever reason, he wasn't able to go to. He didn't go to Eretz Yisrael to ask him personally, but he sent a letter to Rav Chaim Kanievsky. Rav Chaim, Shem Yirbu Yomo Vishnoisov. He wrote a whole long letter. He described to him in detail exactly what happened. He said, Rebbe, what am I supposed to do? What tshuva do I need to do? 83 fasts, roll in the snow, read Shari Tshuva 300 times, never eat chocolate donuts anymore. What should I do? You tell me, I'm going to do it. He was 100% serious. Well, it's known that anyone who writes a question to Reb Chaim, he gets an answer. But there's no guarantee that it's going to be a long and lengthy answer with a long explanation. Generally, it's very short. And this was no exception. When the day came, he receives a letter in the mail. There's a piece of paper and one word on this piece of page. The word was Amalek.
I guess maybe in advance.
You got it?
Looks very serious.
Amalek. It's the answer to your question. Amalek. He didn't know. He had no idea what to make of this. He had no idea what to make of this. Okay, so he continues on, and a week later, he's driving around, and he sees an open house. Somebody's selling their house. He goes into the house because he wants to. I guess he wants to buy a house. And there's a man there that's selling the house. He's not a real estate agent. He asks him, "Who are you?" This and that. Says, "Well, unfortunately, a week ago, my parents were run over in a tragic automobile accident, and this is their house, and I'm now selling it for them." So now he's haunted again. He can't get this. He can't go weiter with his life. He can't get out of his mind. He can't. He says, "What is Hashem doing to me?" Anyway, he's walking. He on his way out, he walked by the living room over there, and there's a shelf which has pictures on this shelf. And on these pictures were a number of photographs from Nazi Germany, of people in Nazi uniforms. Nazis, the real thing. So he went to someone and asked him, he told him the whole story. He says, "You don't understand? You don't know what Reb Chaim told you?" He says, "You accidentally did a mitzvah of Mechias Amalek. You accidentally did a mitzvah of Mechias Amalek. You didn't know who these people were, but they were Amalekim. They're descendants of Amalek." What? Descendants of Amalek? Who's descendants of Amalek? Yes, the Nazis are descendants of Amalek. They're from Germania. They're from the German nation. Who says the German nation descends from Amalek?
Of Yaakov Emden.
It's another story.
Oh,
Yaakov Emden. It's more than one person that says so. This is another story. This story goes back to early turn of the century, Eretz Yisrael, Yerushalayim. Kaiser Wilhelm, of not so blessed memory, was visiting the city, the holy city, and everyone came out to give him it's a powerful man, a king, and everybody came to greet him. And the B'nai Torah, which there was many of in Yerushalayim in those days, they came out because they wanted to make a very, very special, they had an opportunity to make a special bracha. The bracha that one makes when he sees a human king, which is a very rare opportunity. We don't have things like that generally. There's no more kings. There was one person that didn't go out to greet him, and he did not make any bracha. He stayed at home. That was Reb Yosef Chaim Sonnenfeld, of blessed memory. And the Talmidim asked him, "Rebbe, why don't you come to make a bracha?" He says he has a Kabbalah from his Rebbe, Reb Yeshua Leib Diskin, the Rebbe of Yerushalayim, that the nation of Germany is descended from Amalek, and we have a mitzvah of just destroy them. And you can't make a bracha on a king from Amalek. There's no bracha. No chiyuv bracha in that case. So that's the story of the Nazis and Amalek and the Jewish people. So there's one question that we have to understand. Why Amalek? Why Amalek? We have a mitzvah of Mechias Amalek. This Shabbos we're going to learn Parsha Zohar, we're going to hear Parsha Zohar, and we have to, it's a mitzvah min Torah to listen to this Parsha, and what are we supposed, we're supposed to remember Amalek, remember what they did, and to destroy Amalek? Why? Why Amalek? world, our big tzaddikim. They're makabel ol malchus shemayim. They're otzei ratzono yisbarach. So why is Amalek any worse than them? Why is Amalek the one nation of all nations which was singled out? Hashem singled out Amalek and said, destroy Amalek. And if you look through the Tanakh, you'll see in history that there was times Moshe Rabbeinu, Yoshua, Shaul HaMelech had mitzvahs to destroy Amalek, to destroy the Amalek nation. So Rav Shatz Shlita told us last year a very, very important point. There's a very, very foundational difference between the other nations of the world who hate the Jewish people and who are opposed to the Jewish people and seem to fight against Malchus Shemayim, and Amalek. What's the difference? So Rav Shatz said, we see from the very history that we're going to read about this week on Shabbos. When did Amalek start up with the Jewish people? They started up with the Jewish people after Yetzias Mitzrayim, after Gulas Mitzrayim, all the tremendous miracles that Hashem did, after Kriyas Yamsuf. Yisro heard about all this and he came to join the Jewish people. Amalek heard about this also. The rest of the world also heard about it. What was their response? Every day we read in the what do you call it? The Ode to the Sea. What's it called? Shiras Hayam. Shiras Hayam. The Plishtim were frightened. Even from Edom, it says that they trembled. What did Amalek do? Amalek came to attack Klal Yisrael. He chopped off the milas and he threw them up towards Hashem. The Siman, that we are the nation of the Jewish, the nation of Hashem. They chopped it off and threw it up to Hashem, the Medrash says. Amalek, of all other nations, was most, and they got burned for it. They were not destroyed completely, but there was a war that we had with them, and we defeated them. They literally gave their lives to rebel against Hashem. Did they not know who Hashem was? Were they confused? Sometimes nations are confused. They don't know about Hashem. They don't know who Hashem is. They don't believe in Hashem. They never heard of Hashem. Amalek knew who Hashem was. The whole world knew who Hashem was. This was a time in history, Gulas Mitzrayim, that the whole world knew who Hashem was, and the whole world was trembling with fear from the Jewish nation. The Jewish nation was untouchable. Except Amalek came and jumped into the hot tub, and they got burned, but they cooled it off for everybody else. They were willing to give up their lives so that the rest of the world should not accept Hashem as the king, and to accept Hashem's moral code, Torah, Sheva Mitzvahs B'nai Noach, to not accept to do according to the Ratzon Hashem. This is who they are, and this is different than any of the other nations. Different than any other nations. No other nation that did this. This is who they are, and this is why we have a mitzvah, said Rav Shatz, of all of the nations to destroy them. They were the ones, they knew who Hashem was, and they wanted to fight against him in order to rebel against him, in order to make that the people of the world should not accept Hashem as the Melech. This is who Amalek is. And Rav Shatz therefore said, how do we fulfill the mitzvah that we have of Mechias Amalek, to destroy Amalek? We can't go looking around for Nazis and drive them over. So how do we do? What are we going to do? Is there anything that we can do? So Rav Shatz said, this is what we could do. We know that Hashem is emes. We know that Torah is emes. We know that the Malchus of Hashem is this is what the world is about. And we're here to do Hashem's mitzvahs. This is our Chachma. We have a battle with it. We have issues with it. We have a Yetzer Hara. Said Rav Shatz, whenever a person chooses to live according to the Chachma that he knows to be true, according to the Torah, according to the mitzvahs, and not let, so to speak, the darker side rule over him, he's casting his vote for Malchus Hashem in the world, and that itself represents a destruction of the forces of Amalek. That constitutes a destruction of Amalek. The whole concept of Amalek, of rejecting Malchus Shemayim, when we accept Malchus Shemayim and we are moser nefesh we exert ourselves to the utmost and sacrifice and do for Hashem, that represents a destruction of Amalek. That's what we could do to destroy Amalek. And when we listen to this parsha this week, Zachar es asher asa Amalek, remember what Amalek did to you when you came out from Mitzrayim. This is what we hear, and we commit ourselves to destroying Amalek. This is what we can do to destroy Amalek. I just thought, after, based upon what Rav Shatz has said, we remember when we learned the Navi in Sefer Yeshaya. And the Navi over there in Yeshaya, there's many different parshas over there that the Navi describes what's going to happen in the end of days. The Navi says that Mashiach is going to come. Zrat Hashem, he's going to come soon. The Jewish people is going to gather around Mashiach. Other nations perhaps will also do so, or at least individuals will also. And Hashem's Malchus will be the issue of the day. The Jewish people will be the ones who will be known as the ones who have accepted and who do accept and who will accept Hashem's Malchus. And then the Navi says that there's going to be nations, individuals from different nations, certain nations. They're going to march upon Yerushalayim to attack the Jewish people. Why? It will be abundantly clear at that point. Malchus Hashem, Ba'olam. Won't be any doubt anymore. Yes, but there's some nations or individuals from nations who, even though that will be very clear, they will go in the ways of Amalek and want to oppose all of that. And probably any descendants of Amalek also, who choose to go in the ways of the unholy ways of their forefathers, will also choose to march on Yerushalayim. And this will be called Milchemes Gog Magog. And there will be a war, and it will look as though the forces of evil are prevailing until Hashem decides that He's going to take over. Hashem is going to do tremendous nising, and He's going to again show Himself in a tremendous way. And just like in the time of Mitzrayim, when the nation of Amalek came out, even after it was clear who Hashem was and that He is the master of the world, there was Amalek that came and said, "We oppose all of this. We don't want to listen." Also in the time of Melchamas Gog and Magog, Ba'akri Sayomim. This is good. This is what it's going to be. And then Hashem is going to destroy them in a miraculous way, and there's going to be an aftermath. All of the nations, the Navi says, that witnessed this tremendous revelation of Hashem's Malchus, will come to Yerushalayim and they'll serve Hashem. They'll bring korbanos, and they will abide by the Malchus Hashem. So this is history is going to repeat itself, Bezrat Hashem, and Bezrat Hashem is going to be very soon. So that's Parshas Zohar. Now we have a few more minutes, Bezrat Hashem. We're going to say something about Sefer Vayikra. Sefer Vayikra starts off with the person bringing his korban. He's bringing his korban, and there's a very interesting lashon in the pasuk over here that Rashi picks up on. Rashi says, Im oile korbanon min habakar zach atami v'akivena al pesach al moyed yakriv oso l'ritzono l'fnei Hashem. Yakriv oso, he shall bring it. Says Rashi, he shall bring it. That's Bal Korcho. L'ritzono, he's bringing it miratzon. He's bringing it because he wants to bring it. That's a contradiction. It's a stira. Well, does he want to bring it? He doesn't want to bring it. He doesn't know what he's doing. What's going on? Ketzad, says Rashi. So Rashi brings the same ideas the Rambam says in Hilchos Gerushin. Koifino so. Yes, we force him to bring it. Ad Chioma, until he says Rotzani. Until he says, yeah, I want to bring it. The Rambam describes a person. He doesn't want to give his wife a get. His wife needs the get. She wants to get remarried. He doesn't like her. He wants his Yetzer Hara is getting the best of him. He wants to give her tzoros. He doesn't give a get. So what does the Torah say? The Torah says, beat him up until he gives the get. But there's a problem. There's a halachic problem over here. There's a get ma'usa. The get is a forced get. A get ma'usa is given unwillingly. It's not kosher. It doesn't work. Comes the Rambam to say, no, it is a kosher get. Why? Because we beat him up until he says, I want to give the get. Yeah? Why does he want to give the get? He wants to not get beaten up anymore. Why is that called that he wants to give the get? He doesn't want to give the get. He just doesn't want to get beaten up. Says the Rambam, no. The person who is the person is his Yetzer Tov. The Yetzer Tov wants to give the get. The Yetzer Tov wants to do the Ratzon Hashem. And that is the person who doesn't want to give the get. The Yetzer Hara. The goof. All of his bad midos. That's not him. All we have to do is just bang it out of him. That's not who he is. If he says he wants to give the get, that's the person himself who's talking. The neshama is talking. That's not forced. The neshama says he wants to give the get. Says the Rambam. That's the way they explain the Rambam, and that's the pshat in this Rashi as well. The Chassam Sofer has a very interesting taich, a knetch on this Rashi though. It's very nice. And he describes a picture. Imagine a farmer in somewhere up north in a little tiny rural town, and he does an avera, right? And now he's got to bring a korban oila. So he's fighting with himself. Oy vey, I'm gonna have to go to Yerushalayim now. Go up to Yerushalayim and bring this korban. how much is this korban going to cost? It's this big animal. It's going to cost me a couple $1,000. And I'm going to be, how long is it going to take me to get there? I'm going to have to, they didn't have egged buses back then. It's going to take me a week to get there. It's going to take me a week to get back. And all the time that I'm going to need to do the korban. It's going to take me weeks. What's going to be with my field? Who's going to take care of my field? So the Yetzer Hara is getting a hold of him. He thinks to himself, he says, my neighbor Yankala, when was the last time you saw Yankala go to Yerushalayim to bring a korban? Are you a bigger tzaddik than your neighbor Yankala? He doesn't go. So why do you have to be a bigger tzaddik than him? So he's got all sorts of issues over here. But then, he forces himself. Or somebody else forces him. Maybe his wife, if he has got a good wife, his wife tells him, you gotta go, get out of here and go and do it. Baruch Hashem, he's got it. Isha Kshera. So he's a, usually we say Isha Kshera, Osa Ratzun Balo. But in this case, he's the Ish Kosher if he listens to her. So, he's on his way to Yerushalayim. He's not so happy about it, but what can he do? His wife told him he's got to go. So he goes. Then he meets his friend on the way. He says, oh, Beryl, where are you going? I'm going to Yerushalayim. Oh, yeah, what do you got? You got a simcha over there? I have some business to attend to. I'll see you later. Bye, have a nice day. Whew. What would happen if he would find out that I'm going to Yerushalayim because I'm a sinner and I have to bring a korban? What's going to be with my daughter's shidduch? Oy vey. So, by the time he gets to Yerushalayim, he's one picture of he doesn't want to do this, but he's doing it. So that's what he says over here. The Chassam Sofer Yakrivo so. He's got to do it. Bal Korcho, even if he doesn't want. But, says the Chassam Sofer, once he enters the environs of Yerushalayim, and then he goes to the Beis HaMikdash, and he sees the Kohanim, Babudosam, the Kohanim, Zrizim, with Yerushalayim and alacrity, bringing the Korbanos, and working together. And he sees the Levim on the Duchen, singing the shiros of David Amalek, and he sees the Yisraelim, B'ma'amadam, attending the korban, giving honor to the korban. They stand there. There was 24 mishmaros. I think the Gemara in Titus it is says that there was just like the Kohanim had a mishmar and the Levim had a mishmar. They had to be in Yerushalayim a certain time. So the rest of the Jewish people also had a time that they had to be in Yerushalayim. Why? To be able to stand there and stand there in attendance while the korban is being brought. So the korban is being brought. Yeah. And so he sees this sight, this tremendous sight of everybody being osik and avodas Hashem. He sees kedusha. And then he goes into Beis HaMikdash and he sees nisim. There was nisim that happened to Beis HaMikdash. He sees all the different nisim that there were. What happens to him? He says, wow, this is really something. This is really special. I'm part of the Jewish nation that has a Beis HaMikdash like this, that has such people like this, tzaddikim, and look at the nisim that there are here. This is wow. And now I have an opportunity to. He's thinking about things totally different now. I've got an opportunity now to rid myself of this sin. And I'm going to do tshuva, and I'm going to bring this korban to Hashem to please Him, and atone for the sin that I made. And I want to get back close to Hashem. I'm going to do His ratzon. So the whole experience of coming into contact with Yerushalayim and the Beis HaMikdash and the Kohanim and the Levim and the Yisraelim that are there, he wants to. That's now, says the Chassam Sofer. That's what it says in the pasuk Ritzono. He now turns around and he's bringing this korban ultimately Ritzono. So This is what the Jewish nation used to have. We used to have a Beis HaMikdash that was a source of kedusha and inspiration for people. Just I was in when I just tell you one story about Los Angeles. I was in Los Angeles and I was by my went to my is my nephew, and he just had a baby 6 months ago, and he's quite a big big person.
You mean he's big, or is he high up?
Yeah, he's high up. Yeah, so to speak.
Oh,
High up.
that's good.
In this,
He must have a nice house.
Not, yeah. He has,
I like
he has a
nice
big
houses.
house. Yeah. He has a big house. Yeah.
Okay.
And
Okay.
he's not 100% Ben Torah, but whenever we speak, he always wants to know about the Torah. And he turned to me and he said, Reuben, what does the Torah say about educating and bringing up children? Where in the Torah does it speak about this? So I didn't know what to answer at the time. I said, it's a very good question. I like your question. And in the course of the evening over there, I think I had a Einfall Mina Shemayim. Hashem revealed to me something. I said, Dan, not Dan, Joe. We have a mitzvah in the Torah called Hakel. The whole entire Jewish people comes up to Yerushalayim and they go to the Beis HaMikdash, and they're all there in the Beis HaMikdash, and there's a big platform that's built there especially for this occasion. The king comes and he reads from the Torah, and the men come to the Gemara in Chagiga says the men come to learn, because there's halachas in the Torah. They came to learn what it says in the Torah. They're discussing the halachas. The women came because they have a mitzvah Talmud Torah. The women came, it says, to hear the Torah being read, to hear what it says in the Torah, to behold this great sight. The children, it says, what do they, and the children are also required to come. And there's a discussion over there. I saw over Shabbos in the Gemara in Chagiga. Is it even those that have reached the age of chinuch, or it's only that, or even those that have not reached the age of chinuch? There's some that say even that have not reached the age of chinuch, which is lachor, the pshat in the Gemara, because the Gemara says to bring schar to the ones, to give schar to the ones that brought them. Why give schar to the ones that brought them? If they've reached the age of chinuch, so they're there to hear, they're there to learn also. So the Gemara seems to be saying, even those that have not reached that age, they must be there. They must be there. So I said, and I saw this in Rav Pam Zatzal. He says this pshat. Even at such an age, even below the age of Gil Chinuch, so to speak. But, so, children like that are brought. Why are they brought, says Rav Pam? They don't have an intellect yet to understand, like their fathers, what's going on. They don't have a heart to be able to appreciate what's going on over here. But a neshama they have. They're born with a neshama, and this whole experience of this kedusha of the Beis HaMikdash, the whole Jewish people coming to hear what the Torah has to say, that goes into them, even below the age of chinuch. So he was overwhelmed by this answer, and he thanked me afterwards. It was really a very, very meaningful answer for him, and Bezrat Hashem, hopefully he'll come around with all of the Jewish people, Bezrat Hashem, and Mashiach should come very soon, and we should see the Kvod Hashem over the entire world, Bezrat Hashem.
Amen.